Hey, welcome to D plus Scenic Travels. Today we are in Skagway, Alaska, getting ready to go on the tour on the train up into the Yukon. And then we're gonna walk through the town a little bit, then we gotta head back to get on our train. So join us as we make travel today. Welcome to Skagway, Alaska, Klondike Gold Rush National Historical Park. Skagway means windy place. This is a plower. Imagine a raw power.
It's 129 tons. Rotary.
The rotor in front, and it plowed through drifts often 12 feet tall to make it safe for the railroad. And here is the rotary, and that could go up to 12 foot tall, and it would chop up the snow and spit it out. Off the side we have a little engine right here, locomotive number 52, and our snow plow was number 1. Rainy, gloomy day.
Here we are in downtown Skagway. It's a little city in the Alaskan Panhandle, famous as the gateway to the Klondike Gold Rush. Its history is reflected in its preserved downtown boardwalks. It is a major cruise ship destination, attracting large summer crowds, and serves as the transportation hub for the region, connecting the Yukon via the White Pass Yukon Railroad. As we start our little tour here in downtown Skagway, right here is the visitor center for the national parks, telling the history of the Klondike Gold Rush. We're going to just sort of walk around the town here and show you a little of the streets of downtown Skagway. There's some big yellow buses here in the city that take people all through the town. We're going to continue on with this little tour now of downtown Skagway.
The Onion Saloon, it used to be a brothel. As you can see the red lights up there, and the ladies looking down. A lot of little shops here in Skagway. T-shirts, local art, news depot. Nice little town. Got a street walker here.
And here we are at one of the famous bars called the Mascot.
And their big beer that they had was Rainier beer out of Seattle, Washington. Bar here. Famous bar. But he talks about the Klondike Doughboy. We're going to go over and check this baby out. Alaskan fried bread. I don't think I have time to stand in line for this. There's a long line waiting to get one. They also have smoked salmon, reindeer, sausage, and shaved ice. Here we go. We're getting up here. We're getting ready to eat this poor boy donut here. My lovely wife has already taken a bite out of it, I think. How did it taste there? Good?
It needs frosting.
She wants frosting on this.
Just a
It's a sugar donut.
flatten.
All right, here we go. I'm going to give it a whirl.
There you go. Got it?
Sort of reminds me of a
Elvin.
elephant ear. That's what it tastes like. It's an elephant ear. But this is just what they call it here, a poor boy donut. It's okay. I like it. Chrissy doesn't like it. She likes frosting on hers. But
I think I'm going to go buy popcorn.
she's going to go buy popcorn now, so. Popcorn?
Popcorn.
We're enjoying it quite a bit. It's a very nice place. Good shopping. It reminds me a lot of a Mackinac City, Mackinac Island more or less. But instead of fudge shops, there is tons and tons of jewelry stores. So I guess they get these people and they to port and they want to sell them diamonds and necklaces and stuff like that. But yep, this is the little town of Skagway, Alaska. Here comes our train. This is the train we're going to take to the Yukon right here. We'll be climbing onto the train to go to the Yukon. Here we go.
That you'll stay on throughout our entire trip today. The metal bridge that connects the cars is called an apron, and it is not safe to step or stand on. So once again, there is absolutely no crossing from car to car. Another thing to note is that you should have 3 points of contact from up and about. This means that you should have 2 feet on the ground and one hand holding on to something. However, with the movement of the train, it's very important not to rest your hands near open doorways or windows because the movement can cause us to slam shut. And we don't want you leaving Skagway with any extra souvenirs. Today we'll be traveling over 20 miles of narrow gauge track and going up nearly 3,000 feet in elevation to scale the White Pass summit. Now, for those of you wondering which side should you be sitting on today, you will also be seeing our train conductor, Conductor Zubel, walking around. She's wearing the snazzy black suit with the gold pins. And assisting her today is our brake.
There's no such thing as a poop fairy.
Oh yes, every year you give away.
During the 1897 Klondike Gold Rush, thousands of prospectors flocked to Skagway, Alaska, facing grueling and deadly mountain trails like the Chilkoot and the White Pass, later famously dubbed Dead Horse Trail because of the thousands of pack animals that died there. To conquer the unforgiving terrain, a British financier, American engineer, and Canadian contractors collaborated to build a narrow gauge railway.
Wondering why we built a railroad in the mountains here at all. Well, it all started back in 1897 when the first steamer ship arrived in Skagway with hundreds of people seeking out gold. Now, there was no gold in Skagway, so now you might be wondering, why would people who are seeking out gold come to Skagway if there wasn't any? Well, Skagway was more like a gateway to the gold fields, which were still about 600 miles away in Dawson City in the Yukon Territory of Canada. Now, when crossing the border, the Canadian Mounties required that the gold seekers arrive in Canada with supplies that would last them about a year to prevent famine in their own country. This was extremely tough because this list weighed about 2,000 pounds, so they eventually named it the 1 ton of goods, because these people had to carry a literal ton of supplies over the mountains. climb in such a short amount of time. Also, it's one of my very favorite views that's frequently missed. And in just this 1/4 mile section, they would use over half of that supply of black blasting powder. It might be hard to believe, but Rocky Point was once a 120-foot wall of granite that weighed roughly around 20,000 tons. To
As we continue our ride on the White Pass Yukon Railway, here's a little history of it. It is a historical narrow gauge railway in Skagway, Alaska. It was built in 1898 during the Klondike Gold Rush. It features vintage train cars. It ascends 2,865 feet into the White Pass summit. The 40-mile round trip takes roughly 2.5 to 3 hours, offering views of glaciers, gorges, and waterfalls. If you look closely across the gorge, you see a road. The road you are looking at is the South Klondike Highway. It's a road that runs from Skagway, Alaska, to the Yukon. This highly scenic paved route connects the port of Skagway, Alaska, to the Yukon, climbing drastically out of the town and widening alongside the steep Skagway River Gorge and White Pass. The highway runs roughly parallel to the historical White Pass and Yukon Railroad. As you drive the route, you will climb nearly 3,300 feet in elevation through the rugged coastal mountains, passing dramatic gorges, waterfalls, and the White Pass summit before entering the Canadian territories of British Columbia and the Yukon. Just a little FYI, you can catch a train out of Skagway on the White Pass and Yukon Railroad that will drop you off at a depot in a ghost town of Fraser, British Columbia. From there, you can transfer to a motor coach bus for a return trip to Skagway. Or you could ride a bike back to Skagway, or just turn around and take the train. Here you see an original wooden and steel trestle bridge. It began to sway heavily under the weight of larger modern engines and heavier ore loads. In 1969, the railway abandoned this original bridge and bypassed it with a shorter steel bridge and a tunnel located a few hundred yards up the gulch. Today, this old structure is completely closed to the public and continues to slowly collapse and deteriorate.
Well, here's the Canadian-United States border right here. Here's the border of Canada and the United States right here. Officially, we're in the Yukon now.
With that, we've circled around and we're heading back to Skagway. We've really enjoyed this historical ride in this narrow gauge train. It climbed nearly 3,000 feet into the air. You know, White Pass Summit. It was about a 40-mile trip by the time we got back. Seen plenty of waterfalls, glaciers, and mountain gorges. We loved it. It was beautiful. And if you ever get to Skagway, Alaska, make sure that you take this train up into the Yukon. So, for D plus C McTravels, thanks for McTraveling with us. And till next time, see ya.